Hi, I'm Austin Harrington, lead designer for Monster Vault Entertainment, and as of the summer of 2017, a game design student at the University of Advancing Technology in Tempe, Arizona. Part of being a game student is getting into an engine and actually making games, and sometimes those games get scrapped in favor of other projects. I'd like to take a look at some of my own scrap projects and examine what I was thinking when I made them, why I made the choices I did, and why I ultimately discontinued working on those games. All of the work that I'm going to show you was created with the use of Unreal Engine 4. These levels are all created using assets packaged with the engine, with the exception of a few textures here and there. So let's get started where I always start, with starter content. When you create a new project in Unreal Engine 4, you can start your project with a little bit of geometry and a toy gun and some boxes to shoot at. I know a number of developers that don't bother with this content, but I've actually found it to be a little bit inspiring. Just seeing geometry rendered in Engine and playing a little bit in that space, sometimes it helps me to get into a creative mindset. I did just that the day when I started working on a game called Action Jackson: Tomb of the Golden Mummy. Action Jackson was initially supposed to be a first-person puzzle platformer set in and around the pyramids of ancient Egypt. Unfortunately, after building all the geometry out, I realized pyramids have really boring interiors, and decided to scrap the project in favor of something else. This honestly kind of messed me up. Losing creative drive has become a consistent theme in my work, and this is just one more example of that. When I was making Action Jackson, I didn't honestly know where I wanted to take the game, but I had some assignments that required me to create certain scripted events, so I used this glowing cube as my objective. It's essentially a cop-out, a MacGuffin used by a designer struggling to be creative. Anyway, go ahead and press E on the cube so we can continue. In the end, I was completely drained by this level. I wanted to use this concept all semester for all of my assignments in an attempt to make a really great portfolio piece. Instead, I lost all motivation. Around this time in my life, my girlfriend tore her ACL. That, combined with the stress of team leadership with Monster Vault Entertainment, completely crushed me for months. I was drained. I had lost any speck of creativity I had ever had while developing in the past. I stopped sleeping, I ate inconsistently, and I was in a near constant state of panic. Eventually, I decided I wanted to end that, and I started working on a new game. Space Jackson: Quest for the Cosmos. Space Jackson was a departure from anything I'd done previously. I'm a huge science fiction nut, and I thought it was finally time to cut my teeth on spaceship interiors. I really like how this environment looks, but once again, I lost my creative drive. There it is again, that stupid cube. Once again, I was completely stuck. I was spending so much time developing another game, Call Center Simulator, that I felt creatively drained anytime I worked on this or anything else. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think. There are a lot of cool ideas I could have had for an objective in this area, but instead of incorporating an interesting puzzle or spawning enemies or, I don't know, literally anything else, I just put this damn cube. I've really grown to hate that thing. Anyway, you know the drill. The cube opens the door to the next area. This time, to interact with the cube, you can simply walk into it. I was testing scripts when I built this thing, and I thought I'd try something different. Oh look, the same hallway again. I really loved the way Space Jackson's environments looked, but I still lost all creative drive after finishing that first hallway and room. I duplicated the hallway here, but didn't know where to take the game after that. I just couldn't come up with anything. Once again, I trashed what I had and gave up on that game. At this point, my whole life was falling apart. Any ability to be creative was stifled by insomnia and depression. I was so deep in a hole that I don't even know if I could have pulled myself out, but that doesn't mean I didn't try to. Let's move on to the next game. So this Riyadh is the most recent level I built out. I spent some time in Marrakesh a few years ago and really wanted to make something pretty, so I grinded for close to 100 hours building out a variant of the Riyadh hibiscus in Morocco. Initially, it was beautiful. Now though, there are missing textures, all of the lighting is gone, the water is broken, and the doors don't work. Due to a file corruption, I've lost tens of hours of work on this one. Never gets any easier. Creating something you're really proud of is one of the greatest feelings in the world. Watching it be destroyed, in this case by a file corruption, makes you feel like something's died inside it. I thought about retexturing the level, re-implementing the water and the lights, but I thought showing you these problems would better demonstrate why game development is so hard. When you're drawing, the mistakes you make are your own. When you're working with technology, sometimes you can lose your art by no fault of your own. This happened to be one of those times for me. Thought a lot about why I've struggled so much to be creative recently. This never used to be a problem for me, and as far as I can tell, this all started when another level of mine corrupted. A level I loved. A level I was proud of. When you're ready to continue, jump into the pool at the center of the Riyadh. So before my summer semester, I decided it was time to get serious about my engine work. I became really inspired by an image of the Piazza San Marco in Venice and set to work building out a level. Honestly, it was excellent. It was my best work. I didn't know how to 3D model, so I used binary space partitioning brushes, or BSP brushes, to build individual arches and structures that I turned into the geometry you see here. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. I had finally proven to myself that maybe, just maybe, I had it in me to be a real game designer. At the time, I had never even passed an engine-specific class at my college, so I really had no idea what I was doing. I spent weeks on this area, and I really loved it. And predictably, it fell apart. First, the engine began to lag so terribly that I couldn't do anything at all. If I did try to move anything, or build lighting, or do anything in the engine, it would immediately crash. I couldn't even open the project. I was able to import some of the geometry into a new project, but the collision was so broken that I literally can't put you any closer than you are to this environment. The engine will not let me. I've even turned off collision for the geometry. I do not understand. Upon importing whatever geometry I could save, I lost my water, about half of my dock, a building, most of my textures. I could go into detail about how you have to texture every face of BSP geometry, but frankly, it doesn't even matter. I lost a lot of work. I spent weeks working on this level. I tried so hard. Once again, I lost everything. The fact is, I'm not a good designer. I don't know how to work in engines effectively, and every time I do find myself enjoying creating, I end up losing all of my work, no matter how many times I save. I used to love this, just creating games. It used to make me feel so good to create something out of thin air and to share it with other people. Now I'm so creatively drained that I can't even take joy in my art. It's just work. I know going in that it's going to break. I know it's going to crush me, and I know I have to keep working to even have a shot of passing my classes, much less surviving in the game industry. I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. Engine work is an art, and I'm not a good enough artist to hack it in the real world. If I can't even pass an engine-specific class at my college, then what chance do I have to ever be an industry-level game designer? I'm a fraud. People talk to me like I know what I'm doing, but the fact is that I am so lost that I can't do this anymore. I really can't. I need I need to go. I just need to take some time off. I'm done.